In session, there'll be a bit of flirtatious behavior, a little bit of playing of the hair, a little bit of subtle lip bite.
She was seated like this, and then she uncrossed her legs, and she's wearing a short skirt. Right. So I was flashed. She asked, "Why don't you like what you see?"
And then when I came back, he was like on the camera, right, staring at me in my Mickey Mouse boxes.
Oh! Hi guys, welcome to another episode of All Facts No Filter. My name is Kim, and we're gonna deep dive into some careers you maybe are not too familiar with, so you can actually get some insight. Now, every single episode I have got two guests with me, and today I have very interesting people who are going to look into your mind. No, I'm kidding. That's what we're here to actually kind of debunk. We got Kai Xuan, who is a psychotherapist, and he's also known as the Midnight Therapist. And we also have Jett McCarty, and he is a hypnotherapist. I feel like ever since the pandemic, mental health and wellness has become a very big topic, and people have become more receptive towards things like, going for therapy. So, very interesting topic. And did you guys see a boom in business since after COVID?
I mean, I started after COVID, so things got rolling pretty quickly for me.
Oh, definitely. During COVID itself, everyone were doing the video calls, so the video sessions. So that was a bit of a boom. In that period.
Definitely, for sure. And also maybe because more accessible, like you're online,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel so scary.
Well, it depends, because unfortunately during that period, during COVID, people realize that the person who's causing the stress and anxiety and the trauma
Is that
are the people who they are living with.
Oh my God.
So the very people at home, so they don't have the safe space to actually talk about it.
Kai Xuan, let's check in with you, okay? So you're known as the Midnight Therapist. Tell us a bit more why and how that came about.
I've always been more of a night owl kind of person. I also identified that people have their stresses and emotional troubles after a long day at work or a long day at school. There's no one there to help, right?
Yeah, you need to get the therapist appointment next morning in 9 a.m.
Right, so the quickest appointment, right, if available, will be next morning.
Yeah.
Or if you go through the government service center, it will take up to a few weeks for you to get an appointment.
What? I would have forgotten what I was stressed about.
Exactly. And that's where I come in. I want to be the person that you can go to in the moment of crisis.
So Jett has a very interesting background. You were a former hairdresser.
Yes.
And tell me, how did you go from hairdressing into becoming a hypnotherapist?
Once a hairdresser, always a hairdresser. So it's always been my first love.
That's why he's got great hair.
Thank you. As you know, when you go to a salon to get your hair done, you sit in this environment where you're vulnerable there. Your stylist is advising you on what's good and what's not, and you just have to trust them. And that creates this safe bubble. So very easily, my clients used to just open up. So then I wanted to transition that into a more professional setting. And
Okay, very interesting backgrounds, the both of you, why you decided to start your practice and all as well. But first question that I have to ask, what is the difference between a psychotherapist and a hypnotherapist?
So a psychotherapist is basically anyone who studies psychology and pursues further education in psychology. I would say core difference is hypnotherapy is more of a niche, right, into the modality of hypnosis.
What is then the difference between a psychiatrist, a psychologist, and then a therapist?
a psychiatrist is a medical doctor who's qualified to prescribe medication. Psychologist is someone who has gone through school, so they are qualified to provide licensed therapeutic services.
Right.
Therapist, in my opinion, is kind of like a generic term.
Very interesting. If you ever need a breakdown on all the different terms and what they actually do, this is a great video. Okay, so I'm super curious, right? How many years did you have to study to get to where you are?
Yeah, I went through a bachelor's degree in a local university, and that took me 4 years. And then further on, I pursued a certificate in counseling and also a postgraduate diploma in psychotherapy, and that took another 2 years for me. And I am still going to continue further my studies next year to take another master's degree that will take another 2 years.
Clinical hypnotherapist, it's a bit more niche. So even after school, you have to continue studies to pursue a qualification in clinical hypnotherapy. So that qualification itself can take anywhere between a year to two years.
Financially, what is it looking at?
The initial investment was around $40,000 just to get my bachelor's degree. with all the other certificate and diploma that I did, that was another $10,000 to $20,000.
Oh my
Right, to
gosh.
get me to where I am.
Yeah.
And that haven't include my expansion pack of a master's postgraduate program that will set me back for another $60,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
We're gonna go into this thing called the fact board. I'm gonna ask you guys a question, and then you can pick up the board and with the marker, give me your answers, whether in words or drawings, and then we'll break it down after that. You guys ready?
All right.
Right,
Okay,
let's do
very
that.
good. The very first topic is, what is the biggest misconception about your job?
First time playing with the fact board. All right.
Yes. Okay, ready? Let's go. You can... maybe let's start with magic. What do you mean by magic?
So the misconception is that it's magical or it's overnight. It does take time, it does take effort.
So you actually did this for yourself when you wanted to quit smoking.
That's right.
So how does that work?
I started smoking embarrassingly at a very, very young age, you know, bad company. I ended up smoking on a regular basis, anything between 15 to 25 cigarettes a day.
Wow.
Really, really bad, yeah.
Okay.
A lot. Sorry, Mom. I was going through a fitness program and it was definitely affecting my lungs, affecting my quality of health. So then I went out to find a hypnotherapist. And fortunately for me, it took one session. So I went from, you know, anything between 15 to 25 a day to essentially zero the
Oh my
following day.
gosh.
Wow.
That does happen for hypnotherapy. It may seem as if it's magical, but it's
Right.
not. So technically, it's all about when and where, right? When you have the right frame of mind, when you're ready to give it up, and you have a bit of willpower. Hypnotherapy is just there to kind of facilitate.
Therapy is a quick fix.
It's not a quick fix.
It's not a quick
right.
fix.
A lot of people come to me thinking that, hey, can I have a session with you? I need to solve a problem.
Right.
Right? They come to me with a problem, expecting me to provide a solution then. But just like how your problem doesn't come overnight, the solution will not happen overnight as well. Right? Therapy is a long, arduous process.
It's so important to go in with an open mind and not assume that you already know what's going to be the outcome of the session, because more often than not, it really can surprise you. Have you had, people come into your clinic, sit there, and after a couple of sessions, they're like, oh my gosh, he's the love of my life. He understands me so well. Have you had patients fall in love with you? I'm curious.
For myself, because I'm the midnight therapist, I work at late night.
So they're
And
vulnerable when it's 2 a.m.
Pillow talk.
Something like pillow talk. So I've had a client who really looks forward to talking to me at night. I treat my client all the same. If they text me anything, if I can, I'll reply to them. She texts me excessively, like 5 to 8 texts in one shot, and they are not short texts, they are long texts about sharing about her day. So initially I thought, okay, maybe that's just her trying to build rapport. It just keeps coming and until I gave up. I just gave her short replies. In session, there'll be a bit of flirtatious behavior, a little bit of playing of the hair, a little bit of subtle lip bite. I don't know how to do it. Right, and
He just did though.
and it's
again.
awkward. Right.
Do it again.
I don't know how one person do it, right? I can't do it. So we don't encourage behaviors that we don't want it to continue. After a while, the behavior stops, right? If it's
Yeah,
not
of
reinforced,
course,
it's not
yeah.
encouraged, she's not getting rewarded by it,
Yeah.
she can flirt with someone else.
Okay, what about you, Jeb? Who's fallen in love with you? Okay, don't tell us who, obviously, but have you had a situation like that?
That has happened before.
Okay.
But it's very rare that they would do that because, realistically, we're shy.
The fact that he said they, though, I'm just picking up on that. So it's more than one. Okay, continue.
But there has been several times where it's beyond flirtatious. And also during the session itself, do you watch that movie Basic Instinct? Long story short, the scene where she was seated like this and then she uncrossed her legs and she's wearing a short skirt. Right. So I was flashed.
Oh gosh.
Right. So because of that, I've made it a clear deal that I would have blankets in my office.
Yeah.
So if I were to see a patient walking in wearing a skirt or a short dress,
Then
I
you
would
give them a
first,
blanket.
Yeah, first and foremost, offer them a blanket. Even after that, I mean, obviously I look away, right? Because I don't want to disrespect her modesty. So I thought that was it. But she kind of doubled down and asked like, why don't you?
What's coming
Sorry.
next?
She asked, why don't you like what you see?
Oh, okay.
I said, I'm sorry. I think this is not appropriate. Let's get back onto the topic. So again, all the protocols apply. You don't judge, you don't call them out, you just explain to them what is considered healthy behavior, what's considered unhealthy behavior.
Thank you so much for all that insight. I feel like we all got a free therapy session today. You can play this back anytime you need. But anyways, we're going to go into this thing called job tryouts. So every single episode, I have to do something is being done to me. I have no idea what's actually going to happen. What are we doing today? Do we know?
We were thinking maybe we could hypnotize you.
I do not give you consent. Okay, I just want to be hypnotized into not snacking so much. Everything I see, I must eat. Oh my gosh.
We can do that.
Okay, let's give it a go.
So Kim and Kaishin, whenever you're ready, with your eyes comfortably closed, in this comfortable position, just focus your thoughts on your feelings, on your breathing. Just be aware of your breath coming in and going out, easily, comfortably, and naturally. Maybe you can imagine yourself being in a beautiful resort, a nice, big, beautiful resort by the beach. And as you look out into the horizon, taking in a deep breath of clean, pure, fresh air. And as you look behind you, you can see a beautiful villa, and there are 12 different restaurants in this beautiful resort. So in a moment, when I gently click my fingers, you are able to and do dive into the deepest levels of hypnotic sleep available for you. Ready? In 3, 2, 1, now. Drifting deeper and deeper and deeper to sleep. So from this moment forwards, Kim, and throughout your entire life, and especially for the coming days and into the coming weeks, you may notice that naturally your memory is improving progressively more and more, understanding your wants, your needs, your desires, being easily reminded of your true potentials, so that when you start consuming foods, you recognize that there are certain types of foods that are simply unnecessary. So the healthy and nutritious foods that you choose to eat for breakfast easily satisfies your mental and physical requirements until lunch. So from this day forwards, Kim, and for the rest of your life, Kim, you are able to and do feel and be more attracted towards healthier options when it comes to meals, such as green vegetables, fresh fruits, and lean protein. And every time you touch an Oreo packet, you are immediately reminded whether it's necessary or unnecessary. And you're in charge and in control of that. I thank your subconscious mind for listening to me and enjoying this deep hypnotic sleep. For Kaishin, thank you for waiting. In this very state, you are able to and do drift deeper and deeper. Now in a moment, I'm going to touch your left arm. I'm going to pick it up, and when I do, you are able to and do just let it go. Ready? And you can let go of any unnecessary tension. That's right, let go of any unnecessary tension. When I let go, you can just drop it into the chair. Ready? In 3, 2, 1. There we go. Deeper and deeper to sleep. One more time. Ready? When I let go of your arm, you will sink even deeper into hypnosis. In 3, 2, 1. Deeper and deeper to sleep. Now Kaishin, from this day forwards, and as a direct result of this hypnotic experience, you will begin to notice that naturally, every time you work with a client, you are able to and do bond and create that rapport instantaneously. So in a moment, when I count 1, you have full coordination, flexibility, and control throughout your entire body. When I count 2, you position yourself back here in this very room where you entered into hypnosis. When I count 3, all sounds are in their true perspective. When I count 4, you are coming up, bringing with you, keeping all the wonderful benefits from this deep hypnotic experience. And so when I count 5, you simply open your eyes to be wide awake, completely out of hypnosis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good morning, Kim. Good morning, Kaishin.
Good morning.
Welcome back. So take a moment just to slowly take a deep breath, and easily wriggle your toes and reorientate your eyes back to the room. And that is a demonstration of hypnosis. How are you guys feeling? Feel good?
Awesome.
Relaxed?
I
We all
want to
need a
sleep
nap.
some more.
It's so relaxing, isn't it?
Yeah, it was very relaxing. It was a nice walkthrough. I feel tired.
It's quite relaxing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very relaxing. I like that. You know, it was very guided, so instructions were very easy to follow, and I think like it was a nice, gentle entry into it.
I feel it's a rest that I never knew I needed to ground myself, to ground my thoughts, to relieve any kind of tensions or anxiety that I'm feeling, and just feel rejuvenated to continue for the rest of the day.
It is, isn't it? It's so rejuvenating, it's so uplifting. And that took only a few minutes to like give yourselves a bit of a boost. Well done, guys.
Kim, why do you laugh in the middle?
Cause he said
Oreo.
Oreos.
I laugh also.
And I was thinking of Batomi when he was talking. So I classified it as healthy food for lunch when he was talking. Okay, so we're coming to the end of the episode, and as usual, I like to ask my guests these questions. 3 of the best things you feel are in your career, and also perhaps one mistake that you have actually made that you maybe have improved on, but it's just kind of stuck with you for a long, long time.
I would say the number one best thing for as being a therapist is the fulfillment that I achieve every time I witness a client having that aha moment. This is the whole point of why I want to work in this industry in the first place. I would say number 2 is that as much as I'm giving therapy for others, I'm actually going through a self-discovery journey myself as well. It's a natural instinct for my own moral compass or my own views to jump in before I need to hold myself back and tell myself, I need to be objective. And I would say the last thing is, because I'm a freelance therapist, it's flexible, right?
Yeah.
I can sleep wherever I want.
That's right.
And to have the flexibility to do all this.
I reckon I have the best job in the world. I wish more people would know how, when done right, how easy it is to tweak and calibrate your mind, their lives. And once that has happened, you can tell when that's been established in a client. You don't see them anymore.
You don't see them anymore.
And that's
true.
I mean, as sad as that sounds, that is the goal, isn't it? To not see them anymore, because the more you see them, that means the more help that they need.
Okay, so biggest mistake you have made in your career potentially?
I remember there's this one time, it was a 2 a.m. session. It was a teleconsult, and he was my last client for the day. I was ready in the waiting room, and he was late. I waited for 10 minutes and decided to go get a drink. And then when I came back, he was like, on the camera, right, staring at me in my Mickey Mouse boxes.
Oh my gosh!
And as I sat down, before I can say anything, he's like, dude, I think you need to put on some pants. And I'm like, okay. And right, so I'm like, okay, right, let me go and put on a pair of trousers, and then let's do this proper. And I was very fortunate that he was a male client. So it was,
dude!
It was a bit more okay, right, per se, but from there on, no matter how late the session is or whether I'm going to bed or not,
You're always putting
I'm
on pants.
always on. I'm always not in my boxes anymore, right?
I love that. What
So
about
that's
you,
a
Jeff?
lesson.
It's kind of connected to my first point earlier on about, the best thing about my job is also how enthusiastic I am. So much so that earlier on, I didn't really understand what boundaries. I felt I could provide them this sort of emergency line where they could just contact me whenever, wherever. And that would perpetuate this vague relationship that they can just reach out to me anytime. And it took a toll. I have to really draw boundaries and make sure that I can't just reply to every single email or text message after 6 o'clock, after 7 o'clock. Boundaries.
Thank you guys so much. I think the conversation has been incredibly insightful. I love the stories y'all shared as well. And hopefully, perhaps this either encourages you to take the path and be one of the noble, or to go to therapy. Anyways, it has been Jeb as well as Kai Xuan. Thank you guys so much. And this has been another episode of All Facts No Filter.